So this next news topic's a little weird. Not bad, just a little bizarre, and I don't know what to fully make of it. Stranger Things is finally coming in 2 parts for season 4. Okay. And then it's like what, May, I believe? We're gonna get the first part in May, and I think the second part in July or something like that for season 4. They're splitting up season 4, which I'll talk about why I think that's the case in a little bit here. And then they also announced that season 5 will be the final season. So season 4 of Stranger Things will kind of be leading up to the big epic finale. They didn't outright state it, but they also were like, yeah, Hopper's alive. We're like, yeah, we know. You spoiled that surprise for us already. I think
it's an obvious twist, too. It's not like they tried to hide it. Like, yeah, like, shut up.
I think they're splitting up season 4. They will claim, oh, it's because they're longer episodes and we've got more episodes. So we're going to have more than 10 episodes this season, I'm assuming, and they're longer. I'm calling BS on that. I think it's Netflix slowly tipping their toes into weekly release like HBO does, like Disney does, because they already tried it in a very, very small sample size last year with the Fear Street trilogy, with 3 separate movies releasing in 3 weeks, with Fear Street 1991, I think, 1978, and then 1666. Those are fine, but they tried that weekly release. And over the past few years, we've seen with streaming analytics and data that shows that have weaker releases retain their audiences better. Like, the thing with Stranger Things is every single time the social media world blows up whenever there's a trailer or poster of like, it's like, yeah, because you forgot it existed for a while because you watched it, loved it, got excited for next season, and then
moved on.
Then moved on because it's been years since season 3, and it didn't, like, if they built it over, like, as much as we make fun of Book of Boba Fett, that lasted for several weeks to get people's hype up to the point of when the finale finally aired, that had huge numbers. And I think Netflix would be smart to adopt something similar. So I wouldn't be surprised if this is a test run for that. I know Netflix kind of caters more to the binging age demographic, but they can't keep affording to drop stuff and then lose the hype within 2 weeks or so. You need to keep building that. With Netflix, and especially with Stranger Things, this is your bread and butter. Like, this has to be something. I wouldn't be surprised for the final season, for season 5, if that is a weekly release. And I think they're splitting into 2 parts because it's a test run for that. So they can get this initial first wave of popularity with Stranger Things, then a second wave, then whenever season 5 comes out, in 2030 at the rate we're going. We didn't get a lot of other information besides that. They just said that there are longer episodes, more visual effects around this time. Josh, what are you expecting for season 4? And now that we know it's the beginning of the end, in the words of Weezer.
I'm not sure, because there's kind of been like a main baddie threading through all of them, but like not really at the same time, because season 3 was like literally all the Russians. And so what, are we just going to go heavy on the Russian stuff for 3 seasons? And not that I have anything wrong with it, but it is, and I understand it's, the time, like for those time periods that they're in, that's was the big thing. And I understand, but trying to do that now feels a little weird and like, oh, okay, cool. So we're going back to an old trope. Got it. Okay. Even though that's like, that is what they're doing, but that's not what they're doing. It's just interesting. So I don't know what to expect. I agree though, that I think this is Netflix dipping their toes into weekly releases. And honestly, I don't hate that.
They should have done it long ago.
They should. As much as I was someone who was a part of the binge culture, and like, to its credit, it does work. You instantly were like, oh, cool. I get I'm on the edge of my seat for this episode. I can just press play and watch the next one. Awesome. At the same time, as much as I did not like Book of Boba Fett, those last 3 episodes, because of how they build, I was like, okay, yo, yeah, I'm gonna tune in that next week. Then absolutely. So I can totally see them going that direction. I mean, it means that they can do what Disney does and have actual commercials for their shows and be like, hey, catch it on Netflix this catch this on Netflix this week. It drops at this time on this day. They
That
can
assumes they
actually
would actually ever market their own stuff.
but they yeah, agree. But at least there's that opportunity there whereas for opportunity to market for multiple weeks, whereas before it's like, hey, season 2 of Stranger Things drops on this day, and then that's it. Like, you don't get anything else. So like it's an opportunity, hopefully, to see Netflix grow in some way. Maybe if they grow a little bit more, we can finally get those Magic Treehouse and Redwall series that they quote unquote purchased.
No,
And then,
Netflix cares
whatever.
about acquiring IPs just so no one else can use them. They're like the dragon smog. They just collect but never actually use. I
They're the
wouldn't be surprised.
WWE of movie studios.
Well, especially when there's a big name that apparently is going to WWE that makes all of us just go, "Say what now?" You're
I don't. Just as a side note, I don't think that's true. But yeah,
I don't know. I wouldn't be surprised if he does because of some weird stories that we're hearing about the roads not taken. But
Anyway.
I wouldn't be surprised, and I feel like they've said this before that we will be getting Stranger Things spin-offs. It's a world that's primed enough for interesting storytelling possibilities of maybe there's some other weird things that the lab discovered. My only concern is the only immediate thought I have for a spin-off show is one that I absolutely do not want, because it felt like when we saw this, it was a test run for a spin-off show, and that was, I think it was season 2, that one episode with 11 where she meets other teenagers like her, which was universally hated. Like, everyone's like, season 2 is good. Well, except for that side quest episode that no one talks about. Like, that felt so desperation of, oh, do you like these side characters? We might be thinking about turning them into their own show. And everyone's going, no, thank you. They're not interesting. And to their credit, the Duffer Brothers and people that did Stranger Things, there was like no reference to them in season 3 whatsoever. So I think they took that feedback, they didn't jar it and just add more to it. But I don't know if we've seen the last of those, but we do have others. If there's an 11, there's got to be a 1 through 10. So maybe they'll try and spin that out. 7, that weird Tim Burton one, is actually set in the Stranger Things universe and connect. It's the numbers verse. Or just have a series about Hopper punching people in the throat. That's it. It's just Hopper. It's just him.
I don't hate it. I don't hate
It's because
unfortunately.
he's so charismatic.
He's great. He's really great in that show.
It's him.
Maybe he gets
It's
possessed by a demon, and the people start calling him Hellboy.
no, because then no one would watch it.
He's not the reason that movie sucks. I hate.
But then
that
the movie will flop, and then he will blame the audiences, not the people that made the movie. Better yet, we get a Steve and Dustin spin-off show. Just
say less.
I don't even care what they're doing. Just Steve and Dustin together doing just the weirdest stuff.
Steve, Dustin, and Robin give
it like a Hardy Boys vibe.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Nancy Drew, eat your heart out.
Just call it Spoopy Adventures, a Stranger Things story. You're welcome, Netflix.
They're not gonna do it.
Shut up and take my money.
They're not gonna do it.
They get the dog, the demo dog that he gets in season 3, trains him to be good, and that's their pet that like becomes their like Scooby-Doo. It's Dustin, Robin, and Steve with a demo dog solving weird supernatural mysteries. Yes.
Oh gosh. And I can't there's no way to like hate that is the problem. Like, gosh, dude. Like, we need more mystery like kids shows. Like, I love that. I love that kind of that genre. All that being said, it's just, we'll see what happens. There's a part of me that hopes that we never do spin-off shows. Uh, I already don't like the Left 4 Dead series after season 2 or 3, but the fact that they were like, "Hey, we got 2 other spinoffs, ha ha ha," and I was like, "Yeah, no, I don't need that. Sorry." And I, as much as I love Stranger Things, I don't think I need spinoffs on this.